Come on in, everyone. It is time to enjoy some hot coffee and some cold reads. This is Alicia Young. I am the founder of Idea Stages, and I hope you've got your good cuppa to join us today. This is my favorite cup. I'm going to just show it to you. On this side, it says, "Let that shit go." And that's what I've been learning to do this year as I dip into my own healing and finding my own braveness and keeping my own body safe and restoring all this greatness within me. So I invite you to do the same. Come on in. We're going to be talking about what's going on tonight. So bring your cup. If you need to go get you a cup brewed, now's the time to do that. Well, I don't know about you, but how I feel before coffee is kind of like I'm a glorious beast. I'm wonderful. I'm strong. My hair's on. The most beautiful setting it can be on. I look good. I feel good. But it's something about after coffee that just gives you that ow, ow, extra like unicorn superpower. Your hair is just now like flowing in the wind and you just feel better. But to be honest with you, lately I have been dipping into drinking more tea, and I have also started drinking cacao, roasted cacao. And I will say, because I'm on a healthy journey with my life, that I have been feeling like really energetic and great after drinking cacao. So, what are some? You can drop this in the chat. What are some of your favorite drinks outside of coffee? Because I know this is coffee and cold reads, but tell me about that special tea you like to drink, or is it a beer or a wine? What do you drink to feel? To unwind. To be honest with you, the best thing is probably good old fashioned water. Stay hydrated. Stay healthy. All right. We got a few more minutes as we're waiting for folks to come on in. So make sure you get something to stay hydrated, or if you're having a coffee, something to stay stimulated, or something to unwind with, a beer, a wine, a cocktail. You're adults. I can't tell you what to do. Get your own life. Love you. So we're coming on in. Drop in the chat though. What do you like to drink to feel invigorated? If it's coffee, if it's a specialty cocktail, drink, tea, cacao, let us know. Could be good old water. evening. I'm Alicia Young, the founder of Idea Stages, and tonight we will be reading for you August Wilson's Gem of the Ocean. I will be reading on Ester.
I'm Rav'n Moon. I'll be reading Black Mary.
I'm Ben Butler, and I will be reading Caesar Wilkes.
I'm Kenyan James Bernard, and I'll be reading Citizen Barlow.
I'm Obinna Onyeali, and I'll be reading as Eli.
I'm Jim Walker. I'll be reading the role of Rutherford Selig.
Michael Jordan, and I'll be reading the role of Sully Two Kings.
I'm John Marcantoni. I will be reading the stage directions. So we'll begin with the prologue. The lights come up on Eli in the kitchen. It is late night. He is preparing to retire. He draws the shade and is preparing to put out the light when there is a knock at the door. The knock grows insistent. Eli finally goes and answers the door. Citizen Barlow enters, who is agitated.
This is a peaceful house.
I come to see Aunt Esther.
You gotta come back Tuesday. She don't see nobody till Tuesday.
What you mean, come back? The people say go see Aunt Esther. This 1839 Wiley, ain't it?
Come back Tuesday.
Eli starts to close the door. Citizen pushes his way in.
I ain't going nowhere till I see Aunt Esther.
You gotta come back Tuesday.
Citizen tries to go around Eli, who grabs him and shoves him toward the door. They knock over a lamp and Citizen's hat falls off as Eli tussles with him. Aunt Esther enters it from her room. Her presence has an immediate calming effect on Citizen. Aunt Esther picks up Citizen's hat, brushes it off, and hands it to him.
Didn't he say Tuesday, baby? Go on. I'll see you on Tuesday.
Citizen takes his hat and goes out the door. Aunt Esther turns around and goes back into her room. The lights go down on the scene. Scene 1. The lights come up on Eli and Black Mary in the kitchen. They have just finished breakfast. Eli stands at the window looking out.
He's still standing there. He's been standing there since he left out here yesterday. Aunt Esther told him that she'd see him on Tuesday, and he went out there and stood across the street there. I don't know what he wants to see her about. He went right out there and stood across the street. If he goes somewhere, he comes right back. He's been out there every time I look.
Who is he?
He didn't say.
Shh.
He just say he wanted to see Aunt Esther. He looked like he just come up here. He's still wearing his clodhoppers.
If he been standing over there, he must not have nowhere to go.
He can go somewhere and sit down. Today's Saturday. Tuesday's a long way to go, unless he's gonna sleep standing up.
He waiting to see if Aunt Esther come out.
He's gonna have to a long wait. I ain't known her to leave the house past 20 years.
He probably go down under the Brady Street Bridge to sleep. They got a whole bunch of people sleeping down there.
They're gonna have somewhere the way Caesar keep evicting people. He put out 2 more families yesterday. He charged them by the week. They get 1 week behind, and he put them out. He don't ask no questions. He just gather up all the little bit that stuff they got and sit them on the street. Then he arrests them for being out there. What on this to say?
She say no. I asked her if she wanted to get up. She say no. I asked her if she was sick. She say no.
It's going on 4 days now. I ain't never known her to sleep that long. Long as I known her.
I asked her, did she want anything to eat? She say no.
There is a knock at the door. Eli goes to answer it. Rutherford Selig enters. He is carrying a frying pan and a can of kerosene.
Hey, Selig, come on in.
Hey, Eli. Here's kerosene. I got your rocks on the wagon. Say, Black Mary, I got you that frying pan.
Black Mary takes the frying pan and looks at it.
That's good iron. You can't get iron like that every day. That's high-grade iron. Bottom's nice and flat.
How much you gonna charge me? I paid too much for that coffee pot.
I'll let you have it $2. That's a $3 frying pan. For you, $2. I would charge you 50 cents more, but it's my last one like it. I'll be glad to get rid of it. Give me a new order. Hey, you want that 14-inch? I'll have that one next week.
I paid too much for that coffee pot. I don't want to pay too much for this frying pan.
Well, how about dustpans? Huh? I'll let you have a dustpan with it for $2.50.
Black Mary hesitates.
I'll tell you what. Make it to $2 and I'll just give you the dustpan.
Black Mary gives him $2.
All right. Say, Eli, I come from upriver. I see where they got the mill shut down.
They had a man named Garrett Brown who jumped into the river. Caesar chased him and he jumped in and wouldn't come out. They say he stole a bucket of nails. He said he didn't do it. They're having his funeral today.
Yeah, I've seen people standing around down at the church. They got a bunch of people standing around down there. I was wondering what they're standing around there for.
They're going to bury him this afternoon. They're going to bury him out of Rav'n Talbot's church. They're supposed to bury him yesterday out of Rav'n Flowers' church, but Caesar stopped him. He went up to Rav'n Flowers and told him if he was against the law, the Christian law. Man ain't set a foot in church for 30 years talking about Christian law. Caesar's just mad at him because he didn't get a chance at him.
He could have come out the water.
They couldn't get him to come out. Caesar told him he wasn't going to arrest him, told him he'd give him a bowl of soup and some dry clothes. He told Caesar, go to hell. Told the whole family to go to hell. He talking about you, Black Mary.
You can't stay in there but so long. That cold, oof, it'll get to you, shut your body down.
He just treading water, holding on to that barge. Caesar see him, wasn't going to come out. He tried to beat him over to the head to the 2x4, talking about he wasn't going to do nothing to him. I believe he would have killed him right on the spot if he came out.
He wouldn't have done nothing but arrest him, and the judge give him 30 days.
Well, as it is, he dead.
If he jumped in the river and didn't come out, I'd have to believe he didn't do it. They had a man down in Kentucky, was accused of stealing a horse. He said he didn't do it. Turned him into an outlaw. Made him the biggest horse thief in Kentucky. Yeah, he lived to steal horses. He must have stole 500 horses. And everyone, he sent back word. I stole that one, but I didn't steal the first one. I stole that one, but I didn't steal the first one. Yeah, well, they never did catch him. He died. Horse thieving stopped. My daddy told me about it.
There is a knock at the door.
Hey, Selig. I see you got a new horse.
Ain't she a beauty? Name's Sally. I got her from Jacob Herlick. He going up to New York to go in business with his brother.
Yeah, that's a nice looking horse.
I ain't had a speck of trouble from her since I had her. I say get up, she go. Whoa, she stop. I fear some oats, she carry me wherever I want to go. Then go right, I'm gonna get me a new wagon. All right, I'll see you next time, Black Mary.
Tell Aunt Ester I asked about her.
You can tell Aunt Ester I asked about her.
Take care of yourself, Selig.
Selig exits. Eli crosses back over to the window.
Come on and help me build this wall.
Where are you building the wall at?
Out back. I'm going to take and build a wall around the side there.
You can get some wood and build your fence.
I want a wall.
I'll help you. When do you want to start?
Anytime you're ready. We can start tomorrow.
All right.
I want a wall See if I can keep Caesar out of the other side. The way he going around, he gonna have everybody in jail.
Caesar's doing his job. That's what the people can't see.
Now, Caesar's the kind of people I would want working for me. If I ever get me a plantation, I'm going to hire him to keep my niggas in line.
Eli crosses to the window and looks out.
I got a letter from my sister. Hey, Black Mary, read this for me.
Hands her the letter.
Dear Solomon, I'm writing to let you know the times are terrible here. The most everybody remembers since bondage. The people are having a hard time with freedom. I can't hold on here anymore. The white people has gone crazy and won't let anybody leave. They beat one fella on the road so bad, his mama say, "Who is he?" They killed some more and say the colored can't buy any tickets on the train to get away. Say they will sink the ferry of any colored on it. I want to leave to come north, but it is too bad. It is a hard time for everybody. Write and let me know what to do as I try to hold on, but can't. Your loving sister, Eliza Jackson.
I got to go back down there.
I would go with you, but I gotta take care of Aunt Esther.
I got to go back down there and get my sister. I'm going to see if Jefferson Culpepper want to go with me.
I'm surprised Jefferson Culpepper can walk as old as he is. You talking about 800 miles? 800 miles one way and 800 miles coming back. You need to go find him a rocking chair somewhere.
I believe I can make it back down there if I don't get sleepy. I get sleepy sometime and don't know if I got it mixed up with the time and it really be night even though it looked like daytime. A lot of things can fool you like that. A lot of things shine like gold ain't gold. A lot of brass shine like gold.
Aunt Esther enters.
What you doing making all that noise out here? I smell pig feet, Black Mary. Put me on a pot of tea. Eli, see if you can get that stove in there to work. I don't know what it is. Seem like I be cold all the time.
You ain't getting sick, is you?
I ain't said I was sick. I'm just cold. I don't know what it is.
Eli exits into Aunt Esther's room.
I bought you some Pure.
Black Mary, see what he got there.
I got a little bit of everything. Got some 30 day, got some 60 day.
See what it looked like, Black Mary.
Black Mary takes one of the bags and opens it and looks inside.
You can't tell nothing by looking at it. Bring it here. How you gonna be scared of dog shit? That's all it is.
I ain't said I was scared of it.
Bring it here.
Black Mary takes her the bag. Aunt Esther breaks open a piece of Pure and empties it in her hand.
Look at that. God made that. Ain't nothing in God's creation that ain't good.
Scene 2. The lights come up on the parlor. Citizen Barlow enters from the upstairs window. There's a knock at the door. No one answers. Another knock. Silence. Citizen enters from upstairs. Hungry, he heads straight for the kitchen and finds the bread box. He grabs a piece of bread, stuffs it in his mouth, grabs another piece, stuffs it in his pocket. He looks around for something else to eat when Aunt Esther enters from her room.
I didn't know that window was still open up there. No wonder I'm cold.
Citizen is startled. He doesn't know what to do.
I ain't gonna harm nobody.
Eli's gone out. He ain't coming back for a while. Black Mary's gone shopping. Are you hungry? She got them pig feet on, but they ain't done yet. She gonna make up a pot of soup when she come back.
I know Robert. You said to come back Tuesday. I can't wait till Tuesday. I can't wait. I have to see you now. They say you can help me. They say you wash people's souls.
God's the only one can wash people's souls. God got big forgiveness.
The people say, go see Aunt Esther.
You remind me of my Junebug. He was a nice-looking man like you, had big hands. Do they call you Junebug? What's your name? My name is Esther Tyler. Some people call me Aunt Esther. What they call you?
Citizen. They call me Citizen Barlow.
Were you looking for money, Mr. Citizen? I'd give you $2 if I had my purse. Go in that room and get my purse, and I'll give you $2. In the room there on the nightstand. You can go and get it, and I'll give you $2.
I ain't looking for no money. I ain't no robber. I come to see you.
You remind me of my Junebug. He was the only one of my boys that caused me trouble. But I do believe he was a good boy. Just a rascal of a man. Is you a rascal, Mr. Citizen? I believe you is. Come sit down and keep me company. I get lonely sometimes. You ever get lonely? Being lonely is hard when there's so many people around. I told myself I'm gonna die from loneliness. There was a man who ran and jumped in the river. They say he stole a bucket of nails. Did you hear about that? He died a lonely death. Wasn't nobody but him. All them people standing around watching, and he was the only one who died.
He could have come out the river.
That's the only way he had to say he was innocent. It must have meant an awful lot for him to say that. He was willing to die to say that.
I was standing there. I seen him. I thought he was going to come out. I told myself he was going to come out. The people was telling him to come on out. Then he just sunk down in the water. He kept saying he didn't steal the bucket of nails. Everything they say to him, he just say he didn't steal the bucket of nails.
Jesus Christ was falsely accused. He died a bitter death on the cross. This man was like Jesus. He said he'd rather die innocent than to live guilty. You can go ahead and eat your bread, Mr. Citizen. Black Mary be back in a minute. I have her make up a pot of soup and some cornbread. You like cornbread? You look like you can eat a whole pan yourself.
I like cornbread, yeah.
What you like best? Cornbread or biscuits? I can never make up my mind.
I like cornbread, but I like biscuits better.
That was like my Junebug. Oh, I lost my Junebug, Mr. Citizen. Oh, that was a sad time. The darkest day I ever did see was on the day I lost my Junebug. You ever look at a piece of rope, Mr. Citizen? God made that rope. It come right out the ground. You twist and weave it all together and you get a rope. Rope can help you do a lot of things. You can tie it around a bucket and get water out of a well. You can tie things together with a piece of rope. God made the rope. It's man who sometimes gets in the way of God's creation and turns it over to the devil. Did you ever have love, Mr. Citizen? I seen people have love and didn't know it. I had love and didn't know it. It's like money. You can't never have enough. You ever had enough money, Mr. Citizen? Some people ain't never had enough.
I ain't got no money, Miss Tyler. I never had none. Time I get it, seemed like it belonged to somebody else. I owe the mill a lot of money.
Where was you born, Mr. Citizen?
Alabama. I only been up here 4 weeks. When I left Alabama, they had all the roads closed to the colored people. I had to sneak out. Said they didn't want anybody to leave. Said we had to stay there and work. I told my mama I was going. She said, okay. Told me there's a big world out there. I kissed her. She told me she loved me, and I left. I almost got caught a couple of times. I had to go out the back and find my own roads. Took me almost 2 weeks. There was some other people out on the road, and we helped each other. Me and a fella named Roper Lee went over to the mill. They say they was paying $2 a day, but when we got there, they say $1.50. Then they say we got to pay $2 room and board. They sent us over to a place. The man said we got to put $2 on top of that. Then he put 2 men to a room with 1 bed. The fella I was with want to fight about it. I'm just starting out. I don't want no trouble. I told him I would sleep on the floor. I wasn't planning on sleeping there long. I'm just starting out sleeping there. I asked one fella what board meant. He say they supposed to give you something to eat. They ain't give us nothing. I say, okay, I can't make them give me nothing. What I'm going to do? I got to eat. I bought a loaf of bread for $0.10. A bowl of soup cost 10 cents around the corner. I wasn't desperate. I had 65 cents to make it to payday. I ate half the bread and say I would get a bowl of soup tomorrow. Come payday, they gave me $3, say the rest go on my bill. I had to give the man who owned the house $2. What I'm going to do, Miss Tyler? I told the people at the mill I was going to get another job. They say I couldn't do that because I still owed them money and they was going to get the police on me. I was going to go to another city, but then before I had a chance, I killed a man. I don't know, Miss Tyler. I feel like I got a hole inside me. People say you can help me. I don't want to go to hell, Miss Tyler. My mama cry every time something bad happened to me.
It will all come to stand in the light, Mr. Citizen. Everything and everybody got to stand in the light. Jesus Christ stood in the light. People saw him standing there and they killed him. But the judgment ain't with the people. The judgment with God. He the big master. God don't never lie. The people are liable to do anything. They lie and cheat. That's why God didn't give the judgment with the people. Say, I am the beginning and the end.
Citizen has fallen asleep in the chair. Aunt Ester begins to sing a lullaby.
Go to sleep, my child. You don't know the world yet. Go to sleep, my child. The world's not easy. Go to sleep, my child. I'm here watching over you. The world is not easy.
Black Mary enters from the street carrying groceries. Aunt Ester puts her finger to her lips.
Go upstairs and make up that bed in the spare room. Mr. Citizen is going to stay and help Eli with that wall.
Black Mary exits upstairs.
You going to go on an adventure, Mr. Citizen. I bet you don't know that. It's all adventure. You signed up for it and didn't even know it.
Scene 3. There is a knock on the door. Eli goes to answer it, and Caesar Wilkes enters. About 52 years old, he is the local constable and Black Mary's brother.
This is a peaceful house.
These niggas gone crazy.
Caesar takes off his hat and hangs it up and goes and sits at the table.
They all over the mill rioting, busting out the goddamn windows, talking about they ain't going to work. They had all kinds of chaos and confusion over there. Police had to arrest about 200 people. I ain't never seen nothing like it. Want to bust out the goddamn windows, running around like a pack of animals, talking about they ain't going to work. You can't have that. The mill losing money. That's 3 days in a row they ain't went to work. They after me downtown to put a stop to it. I'm going to give them one more day. They don't go to work tomorrow, they're going to be hell to pay.
Black Mary sets a bowl of beans in front of Caesar. Caesar notices Citizen.
There's another one come to get his soul washed. If I didn't know any better, I'd think Aunt Ester was selling moonshine.
Citizen Barlow is helping me build a wall out back.
What you building a wall for? You don't need a wall. Somebody want to come in, they just gonna climb over. There ain't nothing but a waste of time. So you don't have to worry about an honest man. A thief ain't gonna let a wall stop him. He gonna climb over and keep climbing till he find out crime don't pay. That's the way you stop a thief. A wall ain't gonna do nothing but make him mad. Hey, where you from?
Alabama.
I don't want to catch you stealing nothing. I catch you stealing something, I'm gonna put you in jail. How long you been up here?
4 weeks.
Get you some shoes. This the city. You don't need them farming boots up here. Get you some shoes and stay out the saloons. You working? Where you working at?
I'm looking for a job.
You go over to the mill. They got jobs over there. Go over to the mill and tell them I sent you. Either that or go to Philadelphia. They got jobs in Philadelphia. It's too crowded here. Too many niggas breed trouble. Move on down to Philadelphia. If you stay around here, you stay out of trouble. My name's Caesar. I'm the boss man around here. What's your name?
Citizen Barlow?
You a troublemaker, Citizen Barlow? You ever been in jail?
I ain't never been in jail.
That's where you heading. You got to have visible means of support around here. If I see you standing around looking to steal something and you ain't got $2 in your pocket, you going to jail. You understand? Get you a job and stay out of trouble. Stay off the streets.
I ain't looking to steal nothing.
See, that's my sister. Black Mary's my sister. I want you to stay away from her. I don't want you looking at her wrong.
Leave him alone, Caesar.
I'm just schooling him. I like him. I don't want to see him get in any trouble.
My mama told me to stay out of trouble.
Yes, your mama told you right. Where you living? You got a place to stay? You got money to pay rent?
I ain't got no place.
Come see me. I'll give you a place to stay. You got to pay the rent, though. If you can't pay the rent, you got to move on, let somebody else pay it. You know how to read? You know how to count money?
I know how to count money good.
Okay. Here go a quarter. I'm going to see what you do with that. These niggas take and throw their money away in the saloon and get mad when it's gone. I give one fellow a quarter and he turn around and give it to the candy man. I say he could have did something with that quarter. It wasn't much, but it was 25 cents more than he had. He's looking, threw it away. Can't see past his nose. He can't see it's all set up for him to do anything he wants. See, he could have took and bought him a can of shoe polish and got him a rag. If he could have seen that far, he looked up and $25 would be in his pocket. $25 buys you an opportunity. You don't need but $5 to get in the crap game. That's 5 opportunities he done threw away. The candy man gonna get him a bigger wagon and another 5 pounds of sugar. He gonna be digging a ditch the rest of his life. I'm gonna see what you do. You turn that 25 cents into $5 and you come and see me and I'll give you a job.
Citizen shoves the quarter back across the table.
I don't want nobody to give me nothing.
See, I can see you one of them hard-headed niggas. You have to bust you upside the head a couple times and straighten you up. You catch yourself, you watch yourself, see, because you just got on my list. I told you I'm the boss man around here. Ask anybody. They'll tell you who Caesar is.
Let's begin to work back on that wall. Citizen, we got a lot of work to do.
Citizen exits.
I give good value for my services. I got clean rooms, Quite naturally, if you don't pay the rent, somebody else will. I try to tell these niggas in the city, this ain't the country. I can't wait till the crop come in. It's taking them a while, but they learning. Yeah, I sell magic bread. Got a big sign say you only have to eat half as much to get twice as full. And I charge 1.5 times for it. You don't understand. I give the people hope. When they see they ain't got nothing else, they take that loaf of bread and make it last twice as long. They wouldn't do that if they didn't pay 1.5 times for it. I'm helping the people.
Caesar, I done told you I'm satisfied where I'm at. I don't want to be part of that.
Now, see, I remember when you was part of it. You was selling hoe cakes with me. You was running the bakery. Why can't it be like old times? I miss having you work with me. I remember when we was working together. It wasn't about Caesar or Black Mary. It was about the Wilkes family.
That was before you killed that boy.
He was a thief. He was stealing. That's about the worst thing you can do, to steal the fruits of somebody else's labor. Go out and work for it. That's what I did. I ain't never stole nothing in my life. That's against the law. Stealing is against the law. Everybody knows that.
It was a loaf of bread, Caesar. He was stealing a loaf of bread.
I give him an opportunity to stop. I told him he was under arrest. He started running with the loaf of bread under his arm. I had to shoot him. You can't do nothing like that and get away with it. People don't understand. The law is everything. What is it not? People think the law is supposed to serve them, but anybody can see you serve it. There ain't nothing above the law. That's what I try to tell these niggas every time they come under the law. You got to respect the law. Unless you did. That's the only way. You ain't got to respect the law.
I remember a time when you would have laughed at him for stealing a loaf of bread. What happened to that, Caesar?
I took an oath to uphold the law. See, you try and be like your mother. I don't know why your mother never liked me. She tried to poison you against me and you let her.
See, you killing that boy over a loaf of bread ain't got nothing to do with my mother. You always try and hide behind that.
I got to play the hand that was dealt to me. You look around and you see black. You look at the calendar, slavery's over, I'm a free man. I can get up whatever time I want to in the morning. I can move all over and pick any woman I want. I can walk down the street to the store and buy anything my money will buy. There ain't nothing I can't have. I'm starting out with nothing, so I got to get a little something, a little place to start. You look and see the race you got to run is different than somebody else's. Maybe it's got more hills, it's longer, but this is what I got. Now what to do with it? I look around and see where niggas go to eat and niggas go to sleep. I say, if I had some bread, I'd be a rich man. I got some bread. In the valley of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. I started selling hoe cakes off the back of a wagon. I'd cook them over the coals. I got me some beans, selling them right out the pot. I even put a little pork in them. Police ran me off the corner, say I needed a license. It took me a while, but I got me a license. I had to pay 6 or 7 people, but I got me a license. And then they say my bowls was too small. I got bigger bowls. Say I didn't put enough pork in the beans, I put in more pork. I give me some chicken. I charge extra for the big ones, and then the people get mad. One man told me the chickens had big feet, but they didn't have big wings. I seen I was in the wrong business, said I wasn't going to let niggas eat on their own and give them a place to sleep. Only I didn't have no money to buy no property. Went back down to the bank, borrowed some money. They told me I needed some collateral. Say you needed something to borrow money against. I say, all right, I'll give me some collateral. I opened up a gambling joint in the back of the barbershop, sold whiskey. The police closed it down. I had to put some bullet holes in a couple of niggas and the police arrested me. Put me on the county farm. I had to bust a couple of niggas upside the head for trying to steal my food. A couple tried to escape. I caught them. That didn't do nothing but make it harder on everybody. They out there enjoying their freedom, ducking and dodging the law, and everybody else on half rations and got to make up their work. Fellow named John Hanson started a riot. I seen that wasn't going to be nothing but bad news. I took him on 1-to-1, man to man. He busted my eye. That's why I can't see so good out my one eye. He busted my eye, but I put down the riot. They gave me a year. I did 6 months when the mayor called me in to see him. Say he wanted to put me in charge of the 3rd ward. Told me, say, you fry the little fish, send the big fish up to me. They give me a gun and a badge. I took my badge and gun and went down to the bank and laid it on the counter. Told them I wanted to borrow some money on that. There was a fellow named Harry Bryant, had a place on Colwell Street he sold me. They ran him out of town. Charged me 3 times what it was worth. Took the money and ran. They tried to kill him for selling to a Negro. I said, all right, I got me a little start. Niggas got mad at me. Said I must have thought I was a white man because I got hold of a little something. They've been mad at me ever since. Everybody mad at me. You mad at me.
It ain't about being mad at you, Caesar. You're my brother. I respect and honor that. I always have and I always will. But we don't know each other any more than that.
I ain't got but one sister. And I try to do it right by her and you push me away. Family's important. I know the value of family. Blood is thicker than water. It's been that way and always will be. You can't even water it down. Your mother wanted to turn blood into vinegar. When Uncle Jack was dying, she wouldn't even go see him. Say he was fooling the people being a fake blind man. She was right, but that's her brother. He deserved better than that. You can't sit in judgment over people. That's God's job. God decides who done right and wrong. Uncle Jack dying and calling for his sister, and she wouldn't even go and see him. Yeah, that's the kind of mother you got. You let her run your life, got you thinking like her. You thinking wrong and don't even know it. Many a time I tried to make up to her, but she wouldn't have it. Called me a scoundrel. But that didn't stop me from paying for her funeral. I paid for the funeral and even shed a few tears. If I had known any prayers, I would have said them. Why? Because she family. You give up on family, you ain't got nothing left.
Caesar exits. The lights go down on the scene. Scene 4. Black Mary chops vegetables at the sink. Citizen enters with a bucket.
Eli sent me for some water.
There it is, over there.
Citizen starts to draw the water.
You knocked some paint off the sill coming through the window.
Citizen is taken aback.
I couldn't wait till Tuesday. I gotta get my soul washed real bad. You ever had your soul washed?
God's the only one can wash your soul.
The people sent me to see Aunt Ester. One man say he came to see Aunt Ester and all his problems went away. Say she can help anybody.
You got to help yourself. Aunt Esther can help you if you're willing to help yourself. She ain't got no magic power.
The people say go see Aunt Ester and get your soul washed.
The people say a lot of things.
I like your hands. You got pretty hands.
I do too much laundry to have pretty hands. They're woman's hands. That's all you see.
Eli, your man?
I ain't got no man.
You too young a woman not to have a man.
You a young man. Do you have a woman?
I left my woman down in Alabama. We just couldn't get along. We said goodbye with tears in our eyes. You ever left anybody like that?
I left and been left.
Citizen picks up the bucket and heads toward the door. He stops.
My room right next to yours. Maybe you want to come see me tonight.
What I want to see you about, Mr. Citizen?
I got something for you.
What you got for me?
A woman's got needs. I can fill you up.
What you know about a woman's needs?
I don't know all about a woman, but I know a woman needs a man.
Citizen moves behind her and puts his arms around her. Black Mary pushes him away and twists her way out of his grasp. She looks at him for a beat, then opens her arms, offering herself to him.
Here, Mr. Citizen, here. You got a woman?
Citizen embraces her. Black Mary lays her head on his chest.
You got a woman in your hands? Now what? What you got? What you gonna do? Time ain't long, Mr. Citizen. A woman ain't but so many times filled up. What you gonna do? What you gonna fill me up with? Love, happiness, peace? What you got, Mr. Citizen? I seen it all. You got something new? Fill me up, Mr. Citizen. What you got for me? You got something I ain't seen? Come on. What can I be without you?
Citizen steps out of her embrace.
I'm a man. I can't change that. You a woman. A man's got to have his way with the woman. I got the same as everybody else.
Black Mary returns to chopping vegetables.
Leroy and John and Cujo and Sam and Robert, one after the other, they come and they go. You can't hold on to none of them. They slip right through your hands. They use you up and you can't hold them. They all the time take until it's gone. They ain't tried to put nothing to it. They ain't got nothing in their hand. They ain't got nothing to add to it. They too busy taking. They taking because they need. You can't blame them for that. They so full of their needs, they can't see you. Now here you come. You don't even know what you need. All you see is a woman. You can't see nothing else. You can't think nothing else. That blinds you.
Black Mary turns to him. A new thought occurs to her.
Okay, Mr. Citizen, I'll come to your room tonight. But the morning got to come, Mr. Citizen. What you got then? You tell me tomorrow. You wake up and look at your hands and see what you got.
I got me. That's all there is.
That ain't never gonna be enough.
Aunt Ester enters.
Mr. Citizen, listen to what I tell you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to tell you about the City of Bones. But first, I'm going to send you upriver. When you get there, I want you to look around and find 2 pennies lying on the ground. They got to be lying side by side. You can't find one on one street and another on another street. They got to be lying side by side. If you see one laying by itself, just let it lay there. When you find them 2 pennies, I want you to put them in your handkerchief and bring them straight back to me. Where's your coat and hat? Go get your coat and hat. Black Mary, draw that
Citizen,
shade.
Citizen exits up the stairs.
Black Mary, draw that shade and get me a candle. Where's Eli?
He's gone to the meeting at the church.
The people will come and tell you anything. They got all kinds of problems. They tell you this and they tell you that. You'll come to find out that most of the time they looking for love. Love will go a long way towards making you right with yourself. They looking for love and don't know what it is. If you tell them, they still don't know. You gotta show them how to find it for themselves.
Citizen enters with his coat and hat.
Mr. Citizen, I want you to follow the Monongahela River clear up to Blonox. There's a man named Jujamcyn Grant. Ask anybody where you can find him. Jujamcyn Grant. Tell him Aunt Ester sent you. You be careful, Mr. Citizen. Don't forget. Jujamcyn Grant. He gonna give you something. Then you take and put that in your handkerchief with the 2 pennies and bring it straight back to me. Go on now.
Citizen exits. Aunt Ester lights a vigil candle and goes and sets it in the window.
What's the 2 pennies for? Why you got to find 2 pennies?
That's only to give him something to do. He think there's power in them 2 pennies. He think when he find them, all his trouble will be over. But he need to think that before he can come face to face with himself. Ain't nothing special about the 2 pennies. Only thing special about them is he think they special. He find them 2 pennies, then he'll think he done something. But he ain't done nothing but find 2 pennies.
In the distance, they hear the sound of fire bells. Eli, out of breath from running, bursts in the front door.
The mill's on fire. The mill's burning. Great big fire.
The lights go down on the scene. Scene 5. There is a knock on the door. Eli goes to answer it. Citizen enters.
I got the 2 pennies. Aunt Ester say to come back then.
Come on in, Mr. Citizen.
I got the 2 pennies, Miss Tyler.
Come on, Mr. Citizen, and tell me about them pennies.
They was laying there. Side by side, I picked them up. Somebody must have just lost them because they brand new. They still shining. I was looking for Jujamcyn Grant. I never did find him. Nobody knew who he was.
Everybody know Jujamcyn Grant. You must not have been in Blonox. I bet you only got as far as Clareton.
I walked around till I got tired. It started to rain. I found a bridge and went down under there till it stopped. I was coming up around near the bakery so I could buy a loaf of bread and looked and saw them 2 pennies lying there side by side. They still shining.
Citizen hands Aunt Ester the 2 pennies. Aunt Ester goes over and blows out the vigil candle.
Black Mary, go get the map. I got something I want to show Mr. Citizen.
Black Mary exits up the stairs.
Some people don't like adventure, Mr. Citizen. They stay home, like me. I done seen all the adventure I want to see. I've been across the water. I've seen both sides of it. I know about the water. Water has its secrets, the way the land has its secrets. Some know about the land, some know about the water. But there is something that some know about the land and water. They got both sides of it. When you got the fire, that's the special one. It's got lots of secrets. Fire will heal and kill. It's tricky like that. I can talk about the land and I can talk about the fire, but I don't talk about the water. There was a time, Mr. Citizen, when God moved on the water, and sometime he moves on the land. Is he moving now? We don't know. We can't all the time see it.
Black Mary enters with a quilt on which there is a map.
Take a look at this map, Mr. Citizen. See that map right there? That's a city. It's only a half a mile by a half a mile, but that's a city. It's made of bones, Pearly white bones. All the buildings and everything is made of bones. I seen it. I've been there, Mr. Citizen. My mother lived there. I got an aunt and 3 uncles lived down there in that city made of bones. You want to go there, Mr. Citizen? I can take you there if you want me to go, if you want to go. It's the center of the world. In time, it will all come to light. The people made a kingdom out of nothing. They were the people that didn't make it across the water. They sat right there. They said, let's make a kingdom. Let's make a city of bones. People got a burning tongue, Mr. Citizen. Their mouths are on fire with song. That water can't put it out. That song is powerful. It rise up and come across the water. 10,000 tongues and 10,000 chariots coming across the water. The only way, Mr. Citizen. They're coming across the water. 10,000 hands and feet coming across the water. They're on their way. I came across that ocean, Mr. Citizen. I cried. I had lost everything. Everything I had ever known in this life. I lost that. I cried an ocean of tears. Did you ever lose anything like that, Mr. Citizen? Were you so lost, the only thing that can guide you is the stars? That's all I had left. Everything I had ever known was gone to me. The only thing I had was the stars. I said, well, I got something. I want to hold on to them, so I started naming them. I started naming them after my children. I said, there goes Cephas, and that's Jasper, and that's Cecilia, and that big one over there, that's Junebug. You ever look at the stars, Mr. Citizen? I bet you seen my Junebug. Didn't even know it. Come by here sometimes when the stars are out, and I'll show you my Junebug. You come by anytime you want. You got the stars. But it's that wind that drive the boat, Mr. Citizen. Without the wind, it would just sit there. But who drives the wind? What God drives the wind? That's what I asked myself. But I don't have no answer. So I just started singing. Just singing quietly to myself. Some song my mother had taught me. After that, it was all right for a little while. But the wind didn't drive the boat right across the river. What it was driving me to, I didn't know. That's what made it so hard. I didn't have my mother to tell me. That made it harder.
During the previous, Aunt Ester has made a small boat from her document of a bill of sale. She shows the boat to Citizen.
You see that, Mr. Citizen? That's a boat. You're going to take a ride on that boat.
He hands it to him.
Do you believe you can take a ride on that old boat, Mr. Citizen?
This a piece of paper.
That's not what you call your ordinary boat. Look at that boat, Mr. Citizen. It's a magic boat. There's a lot of power in that boat. Power is something. It's hard to control, but it's hard to stand in the way of it. God sweep the stars aside, Mr. Citizen. He don't let nothing stand in his way. God don't know nothing but the truth. That boat can take you to that city, Mr. Citizen. Do you believe it can take you to that city?
I don't know, Miss Tyler.
If you believe it can take you, God got room for everybody. I don't know if you ever seen him, but God wear all kinds of different clothes. He got all kinds of faces. He got a sword. It's a big sword. The Bible says it's a mean and terrible, swift sword. And when he get to waving that sword round, he can do anything. I can take you to the city, but you got to want to go. Do you want to go, Mr. Citizen? Do you want to get your soul washed?
I gotta get this thing off me, Miss Tyler. Yeah, I want to go.
Listen, to what I tell you. We're going to go to the City of Bones tonight. But first, you got to get ready. I want you to go and take a bath. Get scrubbed real good. Then I want you to put on your best clothes. Then go into your room and pray. Even if you don't know how to pray, I want you to try. Black Mary, heat up some water for Mr. Citizen and then go get things ready. I'm going to go get myself ready. Do not disturb me.
The lights go down on the scene. Scene 6. Sully enters as Aunt Ester, Black Mary, and Eli prepare Citizen Barlow for his journey to the City of Bones.
I come to say goodbye. I'm on my way back down to Alabama.
Mr. Citizen is going to the City of Bones. He gonna need some help on that boat. Come on and help take Mr. Citizen to the City of Bones before you go.
My sister can't wait. If I'm going, I got to go now.
I know you want to help your sister, but I know you ain't gonna leave Mr. Citizen to fend for himself. That's not the solid two kings I know.
All right. But I got to get on. I plan to be in Wheeling, West Virginia by morning.
Eli, put on the night light. Where's Black Mary? Get Black Mary. Come on, Mr. Citizen.
Aunt Ester hands him back the pennies.
You hold on to them 2 pennies, Mr. Citizen. You gonna need them. Judson Grant was supposed to give you a piece of iron. You ain't got that. You gotta go without it. That iron would have made you strong. That's what Samson had. His strength wasn't in his hair. He had a piece of iron that made him strong of heart, and God found favor with him. You gotta see if God find favor with you without that iron.
Sully hands Citizen his good luck chain.
Yeah. Put this piece of chain in your pocket. Now you got some iron. Judson Grant ain't the only one got iron. That chain link brought me good luck many a time. Come on, put it in your pocket.
Black Mary enters from upstairs with European Mass.
You ready, Mr. Citizen?
I'm ready.
You see this boat, Mr. Citizen? It's called the Gem of the Ocean.
Aunt Ester hands him the paper boat made from the bill of sale.
You gonna take a ride on that boat. Come on, Black Mary. Solid, Eli. Mr. Citizen is going to the City of Bones. They're gonna help us, Mr. Citizen. You can't never have enough help on the boat. Whatever happened, you hold on to that boat. You hold on to that boat and everything will be all right. Oh, what a day.
Go to the City of the Bones.
Oh, what a day.
Go to the City of the Bones.
We're going to that city.
Going to the City of the Bones.
Oh, what a beautiful city, Mr. Citizen. It's a city like you ain't never seen. All the palaces are glittering with the light of the sun. Oh, what a day.
Going to the City of the Bones.
You ever seen a boat?
Eli, Sully, and Black Mary continue singing as Aunt Ester speaks.
You ever seen a boat, Mr. Citizen? A boat is made out of a lot of things, wood and rope. The sails look like bed sheets blowing in the wind. They make a snap when the wind catches them. Wood and rope and iron. The workmen with their hammers ringing. The boat is something. It takes a lot of men to make a boat, and it takes a lot of men to sail a boat. Them were some brave men. They left their family and didn't know if they was ever going to see them again. They got on that boat and went out into the world. The world's a dangerous place, Mr. Citizen. It's got all kinds of harms in it. It take God to master the world. The world is a rough place, but there's gold out there in the world. There's good luck out there in the world. Them brave men went looking for it. Remember I told you you could take a ride on that boat? The wind catch up in them sails and you be off across the ocean. The wind will take you every which way. You don't need a strong arm to steer that boat. Don't you feel it, Mr. Citizen? Don't you feel that boat rocking? Just a rocking and a rocking. The wind's blowing.
You got to watch out for that north wind.
That north wind got a mind of its own.
You can't reason with it.
The best way you can do is try and outrun it. What you say, Black Mary?
It's like Satan. He gonna have his way with you.
You got to figure out what to do.
Just a rocking and a rocking. The wind blowing and the birds following behind that boat. They follow whenever it go. What is they following for, Mr. Citizen? The wind snapping them sails and the birds following and singing and the fish swimming and the wind blowing.
Citizen gets up and makes a sudden move to balance himself.
It's moving. The boat's moving. I feel it moving. The land, it's moving away.
Do you see the sky?
I see the sky.
What color is it?
It's blue color up close, but farther along, it's gray.
That blue color is the skylight. That gray mean trouble. That gray ain't supposed to be there. You hold on to that boat, Mr. Citizen. Whatever happened, don't drop that boat. You hold on to that boat, and everything will be all right. Do you see any stairs? If you see some stairs, we can go down in the bottom. I've been down in the bottom. Look and see if you see some stars, and we can go down in the bottom of the boat. If it rocked too much, we gotta be careful.
I see the stairs.
Come on, Mr. Citizen. Let's go down to the bottom of the boat. Be careful. You don't fall.
It's dark down here.
Sully, Eli, and Black Mary begin singing.
Got a home in the graveyard.
Remember me.
Going down.
To the graveyard.
Remember me.
Going down to the graveyard.
Remember me.
I hear people talking.
What they saying, Mr. Citizen? Do you know what they saying?
It sound like they singing.
What they singing?
They saying, remember me.
Sully and Eli put on the European masks. They grab Citizen by the arms and symbolically chain him to the boat.
I'm chained to the boat. Who chained me to the boat? Somebody help me.
What about the people? Where are the people?
I don't see no people.
Look close. Do you see any people? Look real close now.
I see the people. They chained to the boat.
Them people you seen got some powerful gods, Mr. Citizen, but they ain't on the boat with them. They don't know how to call him on their own. God don't answer to no one man. God answer to the all the people. They need all the people. Them people you see is without God. When we get to the city of bones, I'm going to show you what happened when all the people call on God with one voice. God got beautiful splendors.
They all look like me. They all got my face.
Citizen is terror-stricken to the point where he cannot breathe. Black Mary comes to his aid.
Breathe deep. Take a deep breath. Look at me. Look at me. It's Black Mary. Do you remember me? Take my hand. It's me, Black Mary.
People. They chained to the boat.
Look at me, Mr. Citizen.
Where am I?
You on the boat, Mr. Citizen. You go into the city of bones.
No.
Citizen throws down the boat. Immediately a storm comes up.
Your boat. You threw away your boat. Get your boat, Mr. Citizen.
Can't get to the City of Bones without your boat, Mr. Citizen.
Get the boat.
You can't go without your boat.
Citizen struggles against the storm to reach the boat. Mass Sally and Mass Eli seize him before he reaches it. They symbolically brand and symbolically whip Citizen, then throw him into the hull of the boat. The hatch slams shut. Citizen finds himself alone.
The stars. Where are the stars?
Citizen begins to sing an African lullaby to himself, a song his mother taught him. Then he is thirsty.
Water. I'm thirsty. I need some water.
There's no water, Mr. Citizen. All you have is your chain link. The boat got into trouble. The water was lost overboard. The captain took what was left and set out in a small boat. He was a mean man. He was a selfish man. The captain of the gem of the ocean. He took all the water and left the crew to die. They survived. They followed the law of the sea. Life is above all. God raised it to a great height. Live, Mr. Citizen. Live to the fullest. You got a duty to live a life. So live, Mr. Citizen, live.
Black Mary begins to sing 12 gates to the city. Hearing the song, Citizen slowly unfolds from his fetal position. All is calm and peaceful. He stands up and looks to see the most beautiful sight he has ever seen. He has arrived at the City of Bones. He is awed by its beauty.
There it is. It's made of bones. All the buildings and everything. Head bones and leg bones and rib bones. The streets look like silver. The trees are made of bones. The trees and everything made of bone.
Do you see the people with their tongues on fire?
I don't see no people.
Citizen suddenly sees a gate.
Do you see the gate, Mr. Citizen?
I see the gate.
There are 12 gates, Mr. Citizen.
And 12 gatekeepers. You got to go through the gatekeeper to get into the city.
There are 12 ways to get into the city, Mr. Citizen. Do you have your 2 pennies? Well, your 2 pennies. If you have your 2 pennies, you can go into the city. If you go into the city, you can see my mother and all the people with their tongues on fire, all glittering and dressed in their splendors. It's a sight like you ain't never seen.
I got my 2 pennies.
Then you got to pay the gatekeeper your passage, and he'll let you in the city. Do you see the gatekeeper, Mr. Citizen?
Yeah. Yeah, I see him.
Sully steps before Citizen wearing the City of Bones mask and holding his stick.
You gotta tell him your name so he can write it down in the book. Then you got to pay your passage.
Citizen Barlow, I got my 2 pennies.
Mass Sully holds out his stick and won't let Citizen pass.
He won't let me pass.
Who's the gatekeeper, Mr. Citizen? Is it somebody you know?
Citizen recoils in horror. He is struck dumb. He tries to speak, but no words come out of his mouth.
What is it, Mr. Citizen? What do you see?
The gatekeeper. The gatekeeper. It's Garrett Brown, the man who jumped in the river.
You got to tell him, Mr. Citizen. The truth has to stand in the light. You gotta get your soul washed.
How come you didn't come out the water? You were supposed to come out the water.
You got to tell him, Mr. Citizen. Otherwise, you'll never be right with yourself. Peter denied Christ 3 times. You might not get lucky like Peter to have 3 chances. You got to tell him now.
It was me. I done it. My name is Citizen Barlow. I stole the bucket of nails.
Mass Sully lets him pass.
The gate's opening.
Overwhelmed by the sheer beauty of the city and the people with their tongues on fire, Citizen Barlow, now reborn as a man of the people, sits down and begins to cry. Sully removes his mask. The journey is over. Black Mary comes over and wipes Citizen's brow. She unbuttons his shirt and begins to wipe his chest.
Where am I?
You're in Aunt Esther's house. It's okay.
I seen the city. I was on the boat. There was people on the boat.
It's okay now. You made it back. Everything gonna be all right.
Eli, Sully, Black Mary, and Aunt Esther begin to sing in celebration.
You made it back.
Back from the city of the bone.
You made it back.
You came from the city of the bone.
They continue singing an impromptu celebration. It is a rough but celebratory song. Then there is a loud knock on the door, which shatters the mood of celebration. Aunt Esther motions for Eli to answer it. Eli answers the door and Caesar enters.
This is a peaceful house.
Hey, Eli. I see Solly here. Solly, you didn't know somebody seen you when you set fire to the mill. You didn't know that. You thought you was gonna get away with it. But you can't get away with nothing like that. You under arrest.
I'm under God's sky, motherfucker. That's what I'm under.
Sully whacks Caesar on the knee with his stick. Caesar grabs his leg and falls down. Sully runs out the door. Caesar gets up and hobbles to the door.
I'm gonna catch him. I'm gonna catch him if I have to chase him clear up into Canada. Bust me on my goddamn knee. You can't get away with nothing like that. Now I got to get my justice.
Turns to look on Esther.
And Esther, I got a warrant here.
You see, I got a piece of paper. I got a piece of paper too. Black Mary, get my piece of paper over there. Sit on down there, Mr. Caesar. I want to show you something.
Black Mary takes the paper boat out of the drawer and hands it to Aunt Esther. She unfolds it and hands it back to Black Mary.
Get that to Caesar. Let him take a look at it.
Black Mary hands Caesar the paper.
Tell me how much that piece of paper's worth, Mr. Caesar.
Know all men by these present that I, William J. Ogburn of the county of Guilford, state of North Carolina, have this day sold and delivered to Isaac Thatcher a Negro slave girl named Esther, 12 years, 5 months old, for the sum of $607, the right and title to said girl. I warrant and defend now and forever to be sound and healthy. This is a bill of sale.
It say on there, Esther. That's a bill of sale for Esther Tyler. That's me. Now, you tell me how much it's worth, Mr. Caesar.
I wouldn't give you 10 cents for it.
Then how much you think your paper's worth? You see, Caesar, you can put the law on paper, but that don't make it right. That piece of paper say I was property, say anybody could buy or sell me. The law say I needed a piece of paper to say I was a free woman. But I didn't need no piece of paper to tell me that. Do you need a piece of paper, Mr. Caesar?
These ain't slavery times no more, Miss Tyler. You living in the past. All that done changed. The law done changed, and I'm a custodian of the law. Now you know, Miss Tyler, you got to have the rule of law. Otherwise, there'd be chaos. Nobody wants to live in chaos. Now, I got a warrant.
This house is sanctuary. It's been sanctuary for a long time. You know that. Everybody knows that. This is 1839 Wadley Avenue.
I don't know nothing about no sanctuary. Somebody break the law, I got to arrest them. Don't care where they at. 1839 Wiley Avenue ain't no different than any other house.
1839 Wiley Avenue is a house of sanctuary. It ain't up to you to decide. The Bible say a place of refuge shall be given unto you, and whosoever seeketh counsel therein shall he be made also clean. For I have given unto the master of that abode a place above the law, for the law is a punisher of men, and I seeketh their redemption.
Yeah, I got my Bible right here.
He takes out a small handbook.
The Penal Code of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Section 14, number 7409, aiding and abetting. Now, Alfred Jackson is a fugitive from the law, and anybody harboring him is aiding and abetting. They breaking the law. I'm trying to be nice about this, but I got a warrant here signed by Judge Homer S. Brown, duly elected official under the laws of the Commonwealth of the state of Pennsylvania. I'm just trying to do my job.
You think you a strong man, Mr. Caesar, but you got that gun. That tell me all I need to know. I see that gun and I know the truth. A man will come and stand and look at the stars. That gun can't take that away from him. You can shoot him, but sooner or later, somebody gonna come and stand in that same spot. He gonna come and stand and count the stars. Black Mary, put on that pot and bring Mr. Caesar some tea.
I ain't got time for no tea. I'm here to serve a warrant. I got a warrant here for the arrest of Esther Tyler for interfering with the administration of justice and aiding and abetting Alfred Jackson, a fugitive of the law. Them is some serious crimes, Miss Tyler. You're under arrest.
You scoundrel, Mr. Caesar. Black Mary, bring me my shawl.
Eli gets out the shotgun, cocks it, and points it at Caesar.
You don't need no shawl. You ain't going nowhere. I told you when you came in here, this was a peaceful house.
See, you breaking the law right now. I'm going to overlook that, Eli. And Esther, you know I got to do my job.
It's all right, Eli.
Eli immediately uncocks the gun and drops it to his side.
Black Mary, bring me my shawl.
Black Mary brings Aunt Esther her shawl. Aunt Esther ties a scarf around her head and goes and stands by the door.
I'm ready, Mr. Caesar.
Just doing my job, Eli. People wouldn't have it any other way.
Caesar takes Aunt Esther by the arm and they exit. The lights go down on the scene. Scene 7. The lights come up on Eli, tired. He sits in the chair and closes his eyes. There is a sound from upstairs. Eli is startled. He goes and gets his shotgun and waits beside the stairs, out of the view of any intruder, his gun pointed. Citizen enters from the stairs on his way to the back door.
Caesar shot Selig. Selig out back.
Citizen exits out the back. Eli immediately starts to follow. Black Mary enters.
Salig's been shot.
Eli starts to exit out the back door as Citizen and Selig, supporting Sully on each side, bring him into the house. Sully collapses on the floor. He slips in and out of consciousness and occasionally mutters, "So live." Aunt Esther enters.
Caesar shot Sully.
Put him on the table, Eli. See if you can get him up on the table. Black Mary, put on some water. And get them clean cloths out the cupboard.
Aunt Esther and Black Mary begin to work urgently at treating the wound, trying to stop the flow of blood. For Aunt Esther, it is an old, unwelcome visitation.
We got through the roadblock without any trouble. We got all the way to West Virginia. Sally, Seen I had a can of kerosene in the wagon. He seen that kerosene. He told me to turn around, take him back to the jail.
Sally say he was gonna get him another boat and some more men. I don't know what he meant by that, but the people that were arrested during the riot at the mall, he say he was gonna bust them out of the jail. Say he didn't feel right being free and the rest of the people in bondage.
We never got as far as that jail. Caesar seen the wagon, started shooting.
He shot Sally in the chest. It looks like it pretty bad.
Sally's been shot, clubbed, bit by dogs, chained, whipped, knocked down, and still raised more hell than any two men I know.
I got his chain link. He say he used that for good luck. I keep thinking if he had it, everything would have turned out all right.
I know Sully. He ain't going before his time, and I don't believe it's his time.
Aunt Ester and Black Mary begin to sing.
Now is a needed time. Now is a needed time.
Eli joins in the song.
Oh, now is a needed time. Oh, now is a needed time. Oh, Lord, won't you come by here? Now is a needed time. Oh, now.
They break off their singing individually as they realize that Sully is dead. There is a moment of silence and recognition. Aunt Ester breaks the silence.
Black Mary, go get the cloth. Mr. Citizen, you got your 2 pennies? Sally's gonna need them to pay his passage.
Sally steps forward, takes his 2 pennies, places them in Sally's hand, closes it, and lays Sally's hand on his chest. Black Mary enters with the ceremonial shawl and helps Aunt Ester place it around her shoulders. Selig begins a procession, then approaches the body. Paying his respects, he takes out his hand. He takes off his hat. Black Mary follows and kisses Sully on the cheek. Eli pays his respects and then delivers the eulogy.
They laid him low, put him in the cold ground. David and Solomon, 2 kings in the cold ground. Sully never did find his freedom. He always believed he was gonna find it. The battlefield is always bloody. Blood here, blood there, blood over yonder. Everybody bleeding. Everybody been cut, and most of them don't even know it. But they bleeding just the same. That's all you can do sometimes, is just stand up. Sully stood up and walked. He lived in truth, and he died in truth. He died on the battlefield. You live right, you die right.
There is a loud rapping at the door. Eli pushes Citizen toward Aunt Ester's room. After Citizen is hid, Eli goes and answers the door. Caesar enters. He has come to arrest Citizen. Caesar takes in the scene.
Where's that Barlow fellow?
That other fellow, he ran off. I believe he was going to Philadelphia.
Selig, I see where they hijacked your wagon. I'm gonna need to get a statement from you. You told me you was going downriver, but when I seen your wagon, I knew something was wrong. Don't worry, I'm gonna get that Barlow fella too. He can't get far. We got all the hospitals on the lookout. We got all the roads blocked. If he try to go downriver, we got him. If he try to go upriver, we got him.
Caesar goes over and looks at Sully.
He thought he was gonna get away with it. You can't get away with nothing like that. I say good riddance.
Caesar, I gave you everything, even when I didn't have to give you. I made every way for you. I turned my eyes away. I figured if I didn't see it, I couldn't hold fault. If I had fault, I couldn't hold on to my love for you. But now you standing in the light, and I can't turn away no more. I remember you when you was on the other side of the law. That's my brother, the one selling hoe cakes off the back of a wagon, the one that helped Miss Robinson and the kids when nobody else would. That's my brother, the one who used to get out of bed and take me to school, the one who believed everybody had the same right to life, the same right to whatever there was in life they could find useful. That's my brother. I don't know who you are, but you, not my brother. You hear me, Caesar? You not my brother.
Caesar is stunned by this declaration. He crosses to the door, turns and looks back at Black Mary, then raises himself to his full height and exits.
Come on, let's go to the burying ground. Come
Citizen enters
on,
from Jester's room.
let's go to the burying ground. Come on, let's go to the burying ground. The hammer keeps a ringing, the hammer keeps a ringing on somebody's coffin, on somebody's coffin over on the new burying ground.
Citizen takes off his coat. He puts on Solly's coat and hat and takes Solly's stick. He discovers the letter from Solly's sister in the hat. Eli pours a drink and raises it in a toast.
So live.
Without a word, Citizen turns and exits. The lights go down on the scene. And
Come on, let's go to the burying ground. The hammer keeps a ringing, the hammer keeps a ringing on somebody's coffin, on somebody's coffin over on the new burying ground. I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Ben Butler. If anyone has a question, drop it in the chat. If you want to join us for this conversation, you can come on live and let's chat. We are a little over on time. So those of you, it's 8:16. We've got about 14, 15 minutes to do the chat, and we would love for you to stay, but we also understand this is a work day. So Benjamin.
Love seeing which direction you point, trying to figure out which part of your screen I was on. Kind of follow where you were on that. Again, absolutely, like you said, thank you all so much for joining us. I'm going to put in the chat box a series of discussion questions that we had just to kind of get the conversation going. Again, any comments, questions you want to put in the chat box, please do so. And directing things to our wonderful cast of readers if you want to hear a response directly from them, or something that you were sitting with after that reading. So once again, here are our, just kidding, I gotta go back and re-put those in. So while we're getting started, sorry, just anybody just, and was kind of the idea and feel that you're sitting with after having watched that, and I will put the questions in the chat as we go.
Hold on just a second. Is everybody hearing two voices or is that just me? It's just me. Thank you.
Right, lovely. Dr. Vaughn asks, awesome job. Do you all plan on putting this on at any time? I think we just spoke to that as one of the goals of this Coffee and Cold Reads and the Script Reading Club is to try to push this out to theater companies. We in and of ourselves are not our own separate company, but what we are hoping is that this will generate a demand and an interest for shows like this, specifically this show, and take that to the theater companies around Denver, around or where you're at, and demand seeing shows of this nature, of seeing this show. And I think there are more than enough people in this reading that would love to be involved with putting this up on its feet on a stage. There are finally those discussion questions. Sorry, it took me a while to reopen the document there. So I think where I start us off kind of as people are sitting and processing a little bit is just the question about the necessity of a physical or spiritual journey to create one sense of identity and purpose. And I think that's so much of what Gem of the Ocean is about the journey, that each one of these characters is on a journey in their own way. Thank you for making me host. And just what did anybody want to chime in what they noticed about the various journeys and how necessary those journeys are? Could Citizen have found himself without his journey?
Yeah, to chime in on that, I personally don't think he could. I think he had to steal those nails, and upon stealing them, he would have never found, for one, a community in the people in Aunt Esther's house, nor would he have never found that kind of acceptance when he came to where the play is set. From Alabama, he was alone, and now no matter where he goes, he has someone behind him to support him.
What I liked about it in his journey, the spiritual aspect of it, is that he actually, well, everyone actually got to see how your lives intertwine with other people's in other situations. So even, I guess, being around and being a history major and thinking about that, when he said he stole the nails, he was accused of stealing the nails, but he didn't, and he jumped. That right there let me know that those nails in that particular instance was going to be very significant to this whole situation. That, you know, so many times we have people who are accused of stuff that they didn't do, and there's always the person who has the truth. That truth haunted him, and that's why they told him he needed to go see Aunt Esther so he could get that spiritual side of him to be able to connect to what it was that he had done. And even when he got down there on the boat, she told him not to let go of his boat, and then he found himself in bondage because of what he had done. And what she was telling him was, ask him for forgiveness and let him know what you did, and he couldn't do that. So he still found himself still bound by his own choices, because he didn't want to let go of that. And sometimes we don't see that in life, that because we hold on to choices and things that we do to people, instead of asking for forgiveness, we find ourselves in bondage and can't release. So that spiritual and physical part of that, it just really came out. I just really like the way it was written.
Love it. Love those two takes on it. The physical journey up from Alabama, and then the spiritual journey on the ship there in Aunt Esther's house as he's getting his soul cleansed there. It also brings up this idea of sacrifice and what we're having to give up in order to go on those journeys to find ourselves, or what we have to sacrifice in order to protect ourselves. So kind of the sacrifices we saw.
So Ben, I also want to weigh in that because this was a cutting, there are so many other journeys that we didn't speak to in the cutting. One of them is Rutherford Selig is a very interesting character. He shows up in other parts of the century cycle. So I'm not going to give it away, but he is very important. And I want to talk about the journey, and because right now where we are, we're allies, advocates, abolitionists, co-conspirators, you know, those white folks who are in this race with us. Like he was there. And it's just to say that, you know, if this is in the early 1900s, the connection that this peddler had to, and the respect that he had for this found community, this made family, right? And so I want to talk about Rutherford's journey too. Another thing that is kind of cut from the cutting is pure. The pure that he collects is actually dog shit, is poop, it's manure. Not even manure, because manure is a completely different thing. And he collects it and sells it to people so they can continue building fires, right? And use it as a source of fuel. So I think that's very interesting too, that like here you have this little raggedy man that still finds good in the refuse. And a lot of times in communities, Black folks are seen as the refuse, but you have these folks who see them as worthy and important, right? And so, and I just want to, I'm not going to put nothing else out there, but I just want to say that there's so many more journeys, so much more. So if you haven't read the script, please read the entire script. There's Sally. Solly and Eli used to help slaves get out of the South. They were like Harriet Tubman. They were on the Underground Railroad, and so for Solly is an old man, but he's not as old as Esther, to be like, I'm gonna walk 800 miles to go get my sister because I can't read, but Black Mary just read this letter that took however long to get to me, and my sister needs to get out. So there's so many different like aspects to that theme of a journey that these folks are on. And go ahead to the next
Absolutely.
question.
Lisa, I want to just piggyback on that. I very intentionally tried to leave in the cutting the sister from the letter from Eliza Jackson, from Solly's sister, because I think it's so pertinent at the end of the play when Citizen puts on Solly's coat, reaches into the pocket, finds the letter, and he's picked up the next step of this journey, that he becomes this. He's not going to let Eliza just sit down there on her own without going to go get her, completing Solly's mission, completing his step. And so we've got a character who's just found himself, who's just found his identity, who's just found his purpose, who's just had his soul washed, and he's immediately off to go do something for somebody else. And that sense of identity and service is so strong in this community and such an important aspect of this play.
But I also think that it deals, what you just said, deals with legacy. I think when you are able to curate your own legacy in one way or the other, I think that's part of it. It's just like sometimes you have to go through those unfortunate situations to build that. When you think of building generational wealth, you have to go through those hard, rough patches here and there to be able to understand, to forgive, to, how to build that foundational piece for yourself. And I think that's what a legacy is being able to build that foundational piece so that things can continue to build. And I think that's what, to your point, Citizen was kind of doing at the end, not realizing it, was like continuing to reshape and build his own personal legacy as well.
I think.
No, I should be muted. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I think it's interesting to talk more about legacy, because I think about the way that Citizen's journey has shaped his coming legacy versus the way that Caesar's journey has shaped his. Because we think about Caesar, and from what I gather from the script, essentially he was unable to be enough for his own people. So now he's doing the work of the other people in order to be enough, versus Citizen, who is totally needs to have his soul washed, has the opportunity to do that, and then is repurposed. We get to see that actually happen, but it's like in both of these men's lives, there's a moment where they get to switch. And that I find very, very interesting, especially with the based on other stuff I've gathered from the script, knowing that Black Mary is supposed to be more fair-skinned, that lets me know that Caesar's also supposed to be more fair-skinned. So then we're also talking about the subject of colorism at this time in 1904, and how colorism can inform what we feel like our legacy must be, or what reasons we are trying to find our purpose in the ways that we do so. So I just want to offer that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good. To piggyback off of what you just said is, I was thinking about the same thing with Black Mary and Caesar, how at the end when she did her soliloquy about him, and he felt really bad because she was basically calling him a sellout or Uncle Tom, because like you said, he switched sides. Now because they won't accept me, I'm going to do what they can't do, and I'm going to go after you because I look more like them and I can pass and I can come after you. And I can feel good about myself because I'm accepted by them, even though I'm not accepted by this community, because he felt like he had already been done wrong. So I really agree with you on that one. That was a good one. And also with Lisa, when she was talking, I was thinking about Harriet Tubman as well, and the Underground Railroad, and them finding safety, and even the correlation of the boat, and them seeing the boat with them with the chains, and just thinking about slavery and how they came over on the boat with the chains, and how, you know, now he finds himself, he was free at first, and now he finds himself chained and locked down in the boat. So it's just a lot of social issues and historical things that you can actually see where he pinpointed those and coming back and forth. That was just really good. I really did.
I really want to touch back on what Kenyan said also, is what makes Citizen and Caesar so very different. Caesar committed crimes. Caesar, you know, he just he went for the law, right? And he went for the structures that weren't built for him, but he decided, and hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes it is a way to save yourself. So I kind of feel sorry for you, Caesar. I'm sorry.
It is, I
Ben.
think, and I posed that question there, what prevents Caesar from getting his soul washed? And I think so much of it is Caesar's inability to embrace his own history and to embrace his own identity. That moment on the Gem of the Ocean, journeying down to the City of Bones, when Citizen Barlow has to, and I know it's in the stage directions there, singing an African lullaby that his mom taught him, that connection to history, which is one of those guiding questions in there about the importance of legacy and history, that he goes through the middle passage, he goes through and that's such a big piece. If you've read through August Wilson's other works, the connection to history and to roots in order to move forward. And it's the characters in August Wilson's canon who rush the journey forward and are unable to connect to their roots that are so often our wayward or our lost or our harmful characters. And what that speaks to us as a people now today, that embracing of roots in history and culture as a means to move forward.
I think it's also important to note how penalized he has been by the law. What is something that I think is seldom understood is how, you know, if you're stuck in a cave and every day these images come up on the walls of the cave, you begin to believe these images are what's real, not exactly what is out there. You can see there could have been an image of a cow on the cave, but once you come out and you see a cow, that's not the cow. The cow is the image. Caesar is a product of the environment that beat him down. Instead of realizing that he had the opportunity to become something different, he internalized the power that the law had over him, and essentially became the very thing that he didn't realize he was upset with.
Yeah, I'd like to say that to Lisa's point when she said that, you know, what's the difference between Caesar and Citizen? I'd say youth, because at the end of the day, Citizen just hasn't been through it enough. And if he were in another 5 or 6 situations where he was beaten down and all of these other things, who's to say that he wouldn't switch at some point? Because we see that Caesar didn't start out this low down, you know, turn his back on everybody. He reacted to turning back to everybody because he had been stomped on so many times himself. So Caesar is such an interesting character, and as well as Citizen. So yeah, so that was my little take on it too.
Here's my official teacher voice and move. I want to be respectful of everybody's time, right? That's the Zoom quote of the last 2 years. It is 8:32. I am happy to stay on for a little while longer. If people want to take off, if they need to take off, by all means do so. Nobody will be offended or have their feelings hurt. This is a great conversation, so keep it going for a little while longer, but giving people that window to escape if they need to.
And before you all go, just know that all of these artists, we did like put information up for you to tip into them, into their lives. It is also on all of the social media posts. Please be kind enough to tip. Idea Stages will be paying them a stipend, but if you enjoyed their reading tonight, just know that we have all kind of been going through it this last 3 years without making the money that we normally would through doing shows, and even more so because it's compounded by you know, the lack and the scarcity of roles that are made for marginalized artist in the room. So thank you. You all can join us on social media. If you cannot find it, find me and I will get everything back over to you. I think you all found it because you found us tonight. So thank you. I so appreciate you. We do plan on doing this monthly, and we do plan on creating a podcast surrounding coffee and cold reads, just, talking about those shows that are underproduced and those artists that are underrepresented. So I love you very much. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for letting me join. I enjoyed it.
No, thank you for joining us all the way in Texas, all our Louisiana, my cousins, folks from California. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have a question, stay on. If not, thank you, Karen Gonzalez. Dr. Y. Oh, she left. Oh, okay, I'll catch up with her later.